All right, this is Justin with Wealth Building Strategies. We need to get into it. Silver is literally taking a hammering. If you come up here and you click on the top of this green bar, we have a wick up sitting at $121.62 was the high. And this was pure manipulation. I've got screenshots of JP Morgan. They were shorting the market. They knew exactly what was going on. Quite honestly, even after hours, there's a standard good ETF after hours that dropped from a $670 price position, went all the way down to $67 and then recovered. This is after hours when the market isn't even supposed to be trading. We have pure market manipulation coming out. So check this out. I decided I was going to go ahead and take an opportunity here and buy some silver. So I went to a silver shop. It was closed. The silver shop today was closed all week, not just today, because of the fluctuations. They cannot keep up with what's going on. Wow, look at the price manipulation. Literally 7.84% down. Man, it dropping like a rock. When I was in town, it was sitting around the $73 mark this afternoon. That was only around 3 hours ago. Absolutely crazy. This thing is going just nuts. But let's talk about it. They are trying to shake the tree. They are trying to shake everyone out. Realize this is a commodity super cycle. The new money in the monetary system. Silver was added as a strategic reserve to the United States of America in 2025, and it also happened in China as well, was added as a strategic reserve. Realize solar panels need silver, batteries need silver, electronics need silver. It's a giant thing. There's definitely price manipulation. Realize JP Morgan holds a huge amount of silver, so you are going to have these giant wicks and ups and downs, but eventually I think the price will be realized and remain steady, but we are in a moment where the shift is actually happening. But as the shift happens, of course, price manipulation is happening as well. This was a golden opportunity. I was going to buy in this afternoon, and if it went lower tomorrow, I was going to go pick up some more, right? Because I was hoping it would be around down here in the $60. But I didn't know for sure, so I thought, well, if I bought around the $72 range, and then bought lower around 65 is what I thought silver might fall to. Shoot, we're already at $65 tonight, and it's not even tomorrow yet. So there is a lot shaking out. I'm going to tell you something. Copper is a big thing that is on my playbook. I am looking at not just basically copper stocks, right, and copper mining stocks, because copper is going to be a hot commodity when it comes to all these servers and AIs and all of this infrastructure that they want to build. There's not as much copper being produced as what there's being used. That is the same narrative as the silver, and you are seeing it play out. One thing that I wanted to mention is that realize that Shanghai was leading the COMEX. COMEX is the USA's portion that holds silver. They hold actual physical silver that is registered, right? And you can take delivery by taking your paper silver and turning it into the COMEX, and you can collect real physical silver. The problem is that the actual paper silver to the physical silver is 350 to 1. Some people say it's 300 to 1, but it's around there. There's basically way more paper silver contracts out than what's actually collectible and is deliverable. So I wanted to point out that the Shanghai was leading at around $125 to $135 a few different days, and the COMEX was trying to catch up to that, and that is the COMEX flipped the number. It actually went up and was more valuable than the Shanghai exchange. And so I think it's interesting that the Shanghai was leading for multiple weeks, and realize that the Shanghai exchange is a physical spot market. It is not manipulated like the physical, or I should say the cash silver futures. So if you're playing futures, it's just basically paper. It's not really backed by anything. They're just leveraging it. So it's interesting that those prices were so high even when the USA never even caught up to those prices. And then we had a giant manipulation coming out of JP Morgan. And you're seeing the results of that bottom dropping out here at 73. And then, of course, it's going back up. It hits that $91 mark. And then, of course, they pull the plug again and leveraging down to $65 in the silver market. Going over to cryptocurrency, Bitcoin also getting hammered, losing the $67,000 level, falling at 63,000. XRP currently trading at 122. Wild to see all this stuff playing out. If anybody is chilling in the back of the boat and you have buy orders in, congratulations that they were probably filled yesterday and today. I think as the market keeps plunging lower, do realize that I'm expecting Bitcoin maybe even to drop out further in a black swan event at some point in time. I don't know when that event is going to happen. We could bottom out further, or this thing could even fall further depending. Realize Epstein files were just dropped and Bitcoin is linked directly to Jeffrey Epstein. And there's more stuff that came out about him being linked to being Satoshi Nakamoto. So I think that is a very good possibility that as this spreads, people could literally run away from Bitcoin. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I personally don't own Bitcoin. I like utility coins. I'm not for the beta test coin. I never have been. I've never prompted it on my show. I don't necessarily have anything against it specifically. It just doesn't really solve real world use case problems, and I'm a real world use case guy. So that's pretty much it. I didn't ever like the fact that it was an anonymous person and it's an anonymous, group of 3 or 4 people. And apparently the Department of Homeland Security admits in an interview that came out that they flew and talked to the creators of the Bitcoin network that is known as Satoshi Nakamoto, and they know who that is. Well, then the Epstein files came out and linked Jeffrey Epstein directly to Bitcoin, and to him having discussions with the founders. So big problem there in the network. I think it's interesting as cryptocurrency is crashing, they are deciding to release this information to Bitcoin, actually damaging it further and plummeting it further into the abyss. I think the timing of the release of this information is really prevalent and highly fascinating. Yeah, I would say that you guys have to realize what's going on. They are shaking the tree. They are driving this market down. We're in a bear right now, but as these prices are bottoming out, look at the sales. 34% on Monero. Chainlink, 27.48%. Do you guys remember Monero? Does anybody remember it? I remember hearing about this coin forever ago. It was called the privacy coin. There was a lot of FUD going around that this coin would never go anywhere, that it would die. I remember Monero being dollars, only worth a couple bucks. Monero today has climbed to number 17 spot, worth $303, and I think a while ago it was worth $400 before we had a drawdown, right? A big drawdown before and then another drawdown today. But I think it's interesting. Look at the FUD around Monero. That's a specific project. You have Bitcoin. Everyone is saying that it would never go to $100,000 or $10,000 or even $1,000, right? This is what people are saying at $2 and $10. I remember seeing Bitcoin and around the $25 to $50 mark, and I watched it go all the way up to 180,000. Don't buy the FUD and the fear of what they're selling on XRP and these other coins, because they are trying to flush people out. Pay attention to the Canton network if you have money to buy. That is an amazing coin. That's what the DTCC is planning on putting trillions of dollars on the Canton network, 50 trillion in the first year, it sounds like, in the 12 months. That's according to the head of the DTCC herself, I believe. So do realize I'm going to make a disclaimer here. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. I am not a financial advisor. I'm a micro strategist that looks at market dynamics. I use artificial intelligence to help heighten my awareness of what is going on in the markets, but I also do chart analysis, pulling fib lines, looking at RSI, 200 moving day averages, 50-day moving averages, and a whole host of other tools that we use on the channel to figure out where things are going. But we also look at supply and demand, because realize that markets move according to supply and demand, sometimes news as well. Obviously, partnerships that are moving money is a big thing. I want to get into that about XRP, because there is some exciting news that has happened in the XRP space. And I think the permission domains that were launched is a giant thing. This will actually cause banks to want to use the XRP ledger under a permission domain, because it keeps them private. This is the moment that a lot of people have been waiting for. They've wondered why billions of dollars are not moving on the XRP ledger. It is because that there was not permission domains in order for banks to remain private. We now have the permission domains. This is where going to help the money move. We're looking for the final piece of the Clarity Act. Don't get discouraged out here. Do understand that commodities, look at copper. Look at the price of how much it already has increased. You're talking around $6 a pound for copper, and it was around $3 or $4 not too long ago. I think it's went around about 80%, if I recall correctly. That's only in a matter of around a month and a half. I think that is going to be a huge commodity. Realize, as there's a lot of droughts going on all over the place, that is going to affect commodities such as wheat, okay? So think about that as maybe a play that you might want to think about putting and hedging some money in there. Realize that your dollars that you hold on to are losing value over the year. So if you, let's say you have $10,000 and over 12 months, you lose 80% of that value, that $10,000 is only going to buy $2,000 worth of stuff in 12 months. So you need to find a place to put your money and hedge it into. Gold has always been a great store of value. I don't think it is a money maker, but I think it does hold your value as the U.S. keeps printing more debt and more dollars, devaluing your currency, which means that things cost more money. So gold is a good move. If your coin shop is open, I would pay attention on Monday and see what the price is. I'm going to see if the coin shop is open on Monday in my local area, because I am going to try to take advantage on this amazing sale that's happening down from the 120. Do realize at some point in time, the bluff will be called. We do have March silver contracts coming up, and some people are going to want their silver. They're going to want to cash in their paper contracts. Those are supposed to be deliverable into, I believe, April and May. So the stress of that might actually open up around in that May time period. It's possible you could see some stress in April, but realistically it could roll out into May and June, where the fractures of the silver market of the pressure and demand actually spill over. So we will see what that looks like coming up ahead. But I do believe that it is going to create some serious pressure. There has been multiple millions of ounces, around 1.5 to 2 million ounces every day has been taken delivery out of the COMEX. So the COMEX supply is shrinking, and they only have so much on hand. So interesting things coming out. Germany wanting to repatriate their gold from the United States. They want their gold back, all of it. Very interesting. A shift from the White House indicating that they do not want to give Germany their gold back. We don't know what the response is going to be. People are asking questions. Does Fort Knox actually hold gold right now? People asked for an audit earlier. It wasn't done. More senators were asking questions then. All that information got pushed under the rug. It is surfacing again as prices are exploding. People want to know, where are the precious metals? Does Fort Knox have them? I think it's an interesting question. I want to see it answered just as much as you do. I will keep you in the loop. This is Justin with Wealth Building Strategies. Keep your head straight and look at commodities. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. Find yourself a good financial advisor, or you can just follow macro, micro strategists and YouTubers that are making decisions. And we out here, in my opinion, are doing it right, because even as the market is completely dipped down, XRP at $1.22, the original people that have been here a long time are still in profit. So props to you guys out there who are currently holding and continue to hold. God bless you all.